Hello guys, welcome to Mindset Madness. Everyone knows that the brain is the main working unit of our bodies. So taking care of our brain is just as vital as taking care of the rest of our body. In today's video, we're diving into 10 habits that can damage your brain. Make sure to watch till the end if you want to learn how to avoid the most damaging habits many of us apply on a daily basis. Before we head into the video, don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think in the comments below. Number 1. Skipping breakfast. Breakfast is regarded as the most essential meal of the day, since it has significant influence on our physical and emotional well-being. However, some people skip breakfast just to have a perfect body shape, while others are so busy professionally that they simply forget to eat in the morning. This affects the brain and your overall health. Skipping the main meal of the day greatly impacts our efficiency and energy levels throughout the day. Breakfast is found to be good for improving our cognitive functioning and memory by maintaining blood sugar levels, which improve our mood and boost our energy levels. Even more so, due to lack of breakfast, you may experience frequent headaches, often referred to as migraines if heavy and consistent, as decreased sugar levels allow specific hormones to be released to overcome the low glucose levels. These, on the other hand, lead to high blood pressure, which triggers headaches and migraines. Avoiding breakfast can also cause high fatigue and low memory skills. Regular and proper consumption of breakfast improves the quality of sleep, which adds in positive energy and mood when you wake up. Even though it may seem cool to work or party all night, if you don't catch up on your sleep, it won't be as cool when you can't think or sit straight anymore. It also triggers diseases including cancer, diabetes, weight gain, heart attack, stroke, and many cardiovascular diseases, which will definitely affect your mental health too. Number 2. Improper sleep schedule. Your mental health can suffer if you are one of the night owls, although switching up on your sleep schedule isn't necessarily an issue. The problem comes from a lack of sleep. Bad quality of sleep can cause severe damage to your brain functioning, starting from inability to concentrate to high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, depression, a weakened immune system to even physical complaints like obesity and diabetes. Moreover, your mental health can also take a serious hit as insufficient sleep triggers stress hormones which destabilize your mood and cognition. One may experience difficulty paying attention and focus as it disables both abilities, so even if you put in those extra hours of work, chances are that the extra work you did isn't qualitative at all, and it even impacts future results. A good night's rest suppresses negative thoughts and memories, maintaining a distance from any type of stress and anxiety. One of the worst feelings some of us have or are experiencing is that moment you feel tired, go to bed, but then can't sleep for hours, leading to a lack of sleep and restlessness throughout the day. It kills creativity, abstract thinking, and even imagination. Number 3. Intake of addictive and pharmaceutical drugs. In the modern world, drugs are commonly used in everyday household. When we talk about the effect of drugs on our brain, then pharmaceutical drugs go hand in hand with addictive drugs. The intake of painkillers might provide you temporary relief, but it damages the brain areas controlling respiration, and when misused or when used with other drugs, it can even cause death. Drugs are often used to block certain signals. We want to limit the impulses we get, whether it's physical or mental. Certain people grab a hand of pills to reduce back pain, while others revert to sleeping pills to get a good night's rest. The impact it has on the signals we normally receive can cause abnormal functioning of the nervous system. On the other hand, addictive drugs like marijuana, heroin, and PCP affect neurotransmitters which are known as dopamine and GABA. Dopamine is responsible for motivation, attention, reinforcing behaviors, and improving moods. GABA is short for the transmitters that help to lower anxiety and manage stress. Number 4. Loud music and noise. Listening to loud music and noises is the most neglected issue that affects our ears, but it might be the biggest reason when it comes to brain damage. Some of us really enjoy listening to loud music blasting through the speakers, but we don't realize it affects our hearing ability every single time. And what's worse is, hearing loss shares connections with cognitive decline and brain functioning. It will make your brain lose the ability to recognize speech. 30 minutes or more would be enough to cause these permanent damages. Prolonged exposure to loud music and noises will alter the way your brain processes things and will have a negative impact on your daily life functioning. According to research, extended exposure to loud music can damage the delicate nerve endings that are mainly responsible for sending electrical signals to the brain. This can cause certain inflammatory reactions in the brain itself. High-intensity music is distracting. You won't be able to focus, pay attention, or deliver any qualitative work altogether. However, this isn't true for all types of work. It can actually motivate people to put in more effort and remain motivated when delivering physical work. Nonetheless, stay attentive and don't turn the volume up too much. It's just not worth it. Number 5. Overloading information. When we are surrounded by excessive detail of things, then in this case, we tend to lose focus and concentration. It would be difficult for a mind to process and figure out the objectives and targets. You will remain confused forever. It is crucial to know which information to consume and which needs to be ignored. This ensures protection against overloading of information in your brain with useless information. Overloading yourself with information can take away your decision-making abilities, which often leads to confusion and frustration. It is the real phenomenon that won't let you take timely actions and decisions, as it feels like you have too much information to work with. Moreover, excessive knowledge kills one's productivity and forces one to make mistakes more often and unfortunately naturally. Take deep breaths, calm and relax your mind. And do remember that more information is equal to more confusion. So, identify the real information carriers and learn to distinguish between class and grass. Prefer quality over quantity. This way, you will end up having quality knowledge and information regarding anything. Define what your goal is and prioritize the information linked to that goal. All the rest doesn't have to be absorbed. Number 6. Taking on too much stress. Too much of anything is bad. I think we've quite clearly stated this today and in previous videos. Even though stress has a bad name, we don't advocate for a stressless life simply because it can also motivate us to reach greater heights. A little bit of stress can be healthy. Let's take an example. If you're studying for an exam, you'll put in the same amount of work when you're not stressed compared to when you are. Stress in this case simply means that you want to do good, you want to perform well, and you're thriving to see that A+ on your exam sheet. Take this stress as motivation. Use it to fuel your brain and keep your concentration alive. However, too much stress can shrink the brain and kill our brain cells. Research proves that excessive stress can affect learning and memory, and it has been seen to have an impact on an essential part of the brain. The consistent stress doesn't have an immediate impact. You might think that you're not suffering, but letting the stress win for longer periods of time can cause anxiety, restlessness, and even depression. If you feel like you can't cope with stress and it is getting too much to handle, consult your psychologist immediately to avoid any further damage. Adopt ways to minimize the pressure you're encountering. Perhaps start with mindfulness, yoga, or meditation. More intensive forms of physical activity like running and CrossFit can also set you free. Find what works for you and apply it. Number 7. Excessive or insufficient sugar intake. When we say moderation is important, we mean it, because insufficient or excessive intake of glucose can be very damaging for the brain. As an expert in neurosurgery, Fernando Gomez Penilla says that your diet has a huge impact on the way you think. The latter also proves that the excessive consumption of sugar can affect learning and memory. The most amount of sugar that we take is from junk food and unhealthy beverages, which contain too little to no amount of nutrients. We often refer to them as free calories. They clog your brain function by cluttering it with heavy sugars and are leading factors in weight gain and diabetes, as they contain a good amount of salt and sugar, which is dangerous for brain development. The brain is known to take up only 2% of our body weight, but uses 20% of the resources, and this is exactly why whatever you eat affects your brain the most. So, it is very important to eat healthy to keep your brain healthy. We've summarized 3 tips for you to use on a daily basis to find the perfect balance between a healthy brain and a healthy body. Tip 1. Don't cut anything out completely. By depriving yourself from certain foods, you'll only want them more. Instead, limit your intake to one quantity of, for example, a soda per day. It's just enough to satisfy your sweet tooth, but it doesn't overtake your diet. Tip 2. Revert to meditation or yoga when you feel stressed, as that can cause binge eating. Tip 3. Invest time in your health. Don't go for the fast and easy option, but learn new recipes with whole grain, unrefined foods. Number 8. Excessive screen time. Screen time is known to be the villain that everyone hates, but nobody can live without. We're so used to our screens that even though knowing the damaging effects it can have on us, We continue to use them whether we're talking about our phones or laptops or even TV screens. Social media has become such a big part of our lives that we cannot imagine ourselves without it anymore. If you want to have more screen time, then try to consume more informative and thought-provoking content. Research done by neuroscientists in Japan suggests that too much screen time is like junk food for our brain, and it has been proven to alter the brain structure of children. Other studies also supported this fact and added that it is also found to be responsible for aggression and low IQ, as it reduces the ability to learn. Try to have some days off of your phone and gadgets. Spend some screen-free time and enjoy quality time alone as well with family and friends. Time wasted online looking at other people's lives greatly impacts our mental health, as we see the riches and successes of others while we aren't there yet. Focus on yourself and those closest to you to keep your life and brain healthy. Number 9. Working when you are sick. We all know someone who can't stay away from the work, even though being sick. Don't worry. We greatly respect your devotion, but on the other hand, we also want you to be happy and healthy. Being sick doesn't only impact your running nose, sore muscles, or headache, but it also impacts your brain itself, and instead of pushing it even more, you need to let it rest. Illness causes weakness, and forcing your brain to study or work hard in the healing phase can affect your immune system, which will put you at risk of having other diseases. Due to this temporary weakness, your brain will not be able to perform at its full capacity. It will lead to foggy and cluttered thoughts that can frustrate you and eventually make the situation even worse. Number 10. Avoiding socializing. You may find socializing optional, but it is crucial to maintain a healthy brain. Several types of research have been conducted in this regard, which proves that people who tend to avoid socializing are more likely to experience a decline in cognitive functioning. One researcher even stated this concern, saying, "Social isolation causes brain shrinkage and similar changes like Alzheimer's disease can occur." Alzheimer's disease is a condition where we find a lack of brain cells connecting as well as decreased cell repair. In other words, our brain is slowly breaking down, and some of our most obvious and once easiest functions will now become more and more difficult. In this case, we're referring to memory loss, inability to control emotions, and a constant confused state of mind. Social isolation can make it difficult to handle stressful times and situations, exerting pressure on your brain. You might start feeling alone and depressed, which leads to difficulty in processing information, risks of low self-esteem, sleep-related problems, and much more. Social isolation can take away the ability to learn. We will no longer be able to engage in mind games like puzzles and chess, as we aren't challenged and interacting on a daily basis anymore. According to some studies, socializing results in a prolonged lifespan. A very typical disease for the elder, dementia, will be less common if you regularly socialize with peers. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you want to learn more about mental health, we recommend you watch our video about the 10 habits you need to quit immediately. Thumbs up and see you soon.